Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Term 3 playoffs. My name is Formal. Joining me, TwoTapTony. And Tony, you got me, not Matsy today.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have a fun time though, Max. You know, we're not really missing all too much.
Yeah, no, I would like to think it's an improvement because now we got two mustaches on broadcast, and that's one more than what you would normally have. However, when we get in game, I don't know. We'll let the audience judge for itself. But you know who also is still with us? Our lovely sponsors.
Yeah, our lovely sponsors, AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. AGON by AOC provide the best in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs. And as well, Indomie, the lovely noodle partner made with high-quality flour and selected ingredients. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today from your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. So, Max, yeah, shout out to our lovely sponsors for giving us this lovely little league that we got here.
Yeah, big shout out, big thank you to them. Been a big part of AEL for a long time, but let's get into these matches. Quarterfinals day today. Kelvin Grove taking on CWLA. Look, I'm a newcomer coming into this one, Tony. What are we expecting out of this? I heard Kelvin Grove, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're not too bad. I was going to say they've got some heavy hitters on their roster as we'll go into our picks and bans, of course. It's been interesting going throughout the season. We've seen a lot of different kind of character picks here or there, and a lot of different metas have kind of formed, and a lot of teams have kind of really worked out what has worked for them. And I was going to say it's been a lot of Groot here for KGSC. I was going to say Lorax has been playing that one super duper well, so keen to see that one, of course, come through. But of course, ban already CWLA. So, you know, I was hyping it up, Max, but it seems like we won't get it this time.
Yeah, you can't be hyping it up too much. You're giving away the strats, even though we're on a bit of a delay, so it's not necessarily live. They saw into the future or the past. Not too sure either way. A little disappointed we won't see that. Look, I know you and Matt usually come in here and you probably provide great unbiased casting. I can't say the same coming into this one. I'm going to be leaning heavy on Kelvin Grove. I'm just saying this to warn people right now. I'm a block and a half away from the school where I live. Kelvin Grove, like a cornerstone right now within Brisbane esports. Go Queensland, go the Maroons and all that. So I'm a little hyped to see it. But without the group being taken, what other sort of front line will we be looking at Kelvin Grove?
It's gonna be interesting. I was gonna say normally, I guess if the Groot's taken out, we see another Penny Ben as well here for CWLA. Kind of lends a little bit more to I guess the Strange and Hulk meta, which is a little bit different. Sometimes we'll see a Magneto in there as well. Magneto, a very prominent frontliner, but as well we're seeing a lot of late stage focus towards the strategist here. I was gonna say the Rocket. Lock in here for KGSC. They'll be taking away the Ultron, so we won't be seeing any flyers, I guess, coming out here of CWLA. They still have a few available at their disposal, but Invisible Woman taken out in the last bit there. We're going to be seeing immediate lock-ins. Yeah, Strange expected. Maybe we'll see a bit of a thing there from the side of KGSC, so I was going to say some very prominent frontliners, but as well some very dive-heavy characters. Of course, the Black Panther being allowed through for both sides. So I guess look out if you're a strategist player right now, because you'll have a Black Panther all over you.
Yeah, I kind of actually really like the team comp, Kelvin Grove, for the dive comp being put together, especially with the use of sort of the strategists that are able to hide back and provide that long-range healing. Going to be very, very critical. So I guess on that token, CWLA... here comes the question. Do you try to hunt the strategists on the other side and avoid the dive that way? Or are you sitting back and trying to play the peel game?
Yeah, that's a very important thing. I was going to say, some of these teams have been very good at kind of turning around and peeling for their strategists, but yeah, Black Panther in the mix is always a scary thing to look at, of course, as well. I was going to say, at least from what we've seen, is the best answer against the Black Panther normally a Loki. It's very anti-dive. You can kind of just sit on top of those heal pools and get everybody topped up, but as well, it provides some great frontward damage as well. Black Panther, of course, a very squishy duelist in the mix, and a few good Loki blasts with that scepter, and Black Panther might be taken out, but we'll get into it. First one here on Bernard T'Challa, and it's always, of course, domination to kick it off, and Lorax already finding one on the Rocket.
Yeah, that's something I was a little bit going to be worried for, I guess, for the Monarchs, is how well they protect their own back line, and already losing one of their strategists. Probably not going to help them with this initial fight. As you can see, front lines crashing into each other. Both sides trying to create a little bit of space. I can't say this looks to be like the most, target-focused approach. Bit of a melee right now, but getting to the back line, as we were discussing, there's the dive in action as they find a second and a third.
Yeah, beautiful picks being found there by the side of KGSC. They're playing very front and forward, and yeah, as you said, very melee intensive going on early. They want to let their presence be known, pit it over. Of course, on the Iron Man, just kind of using that tractor beam to get out some good damage here. Does get stuck a little bit though. Of course, very front. Yeah,
there they go. They saw him now. They saw him. Took a little bit of time. Took a little time.
Ooh, great spear out of Makuhiri though. On to the other Black Panther, I was going to say in air. Yes, it is well. Ooh, missed spear, but great dash. Makuhiri finding that one. Yeah,
actually, really nice job from right there out of the Black Panther. That said, coming, unfortunately, all that work's going to get undone with the Rocket Revive, and on the point currently is Kelvin Grove, so just looking like the Monarchs may have gotten themselves a little bit staggered as well, as they're looking to kind of regroup on that high ground. This is a good start for Kelvin Grove, already 50% of the way through.
Yeah, I was going to say, just playing towards his frontward side, you're going to see Iron Man ult come out, but Roger's just laying waste with the fists right now, and it's all Roger, and it's all KGSC lighting it up once again. I was going to say, nobody really kind of going for an attempt to back cap there. Makuhiri around the sideline trying to scout for something, but KGSC are controlling it. You can see like the rotations towards that front end, towards the stairs, then they go over to the left here to check the left-hand side, and just a lot of space being controlled here for KGSC is looking good.
Yeah, and with 4 ultimates being held onto at the moment, it seems like it's going to be a very tough push for the Monarchs to get it back in this round. We'll see how many of these ultimates the Monarchs can maybe get out of Kelvin Grove before the map comes to an end. It is time for the last push, and it looked like they might have had Eric Anna out, of position, but a big ultimate coming out of the Jeff isn't going to find too much. They actually eat 2 ultimates straight away, so not terrible for the Monarchs. I don't think they win this fight, but at least they got rid of some of the resources, or do they? I don't know. A lot of Monarchs are on the point right now.
Yeah, a lot of Monarchs on the point. I was going to say, kind of, I guess, spacing out their ultimates here for the side of KGSC. We saw the orality erasure there from Ericana to kind of lead that one off, but CWLA and the Monarchs able to control it back in, cap back at just that overtime percentage. They're now slowly building up for themselves, and it was interesting to see, I believe it was Kenpai popping that Karmic Revival very early, trying to get those revives as soon as the fight came in, but KGSC, they kind of staggered out the fight a little bit slower, and I would have thought they'd win it out, but well played to the Monarchs.
I mean, it was 4 ultimates for KG at the start of that fight available for them, and I'm really shocked they didn't win that one out. Now, a little bit on the back foot, we'll see. I mean, a dive comp should be good to run in there and cause some havoc, as you can see both the front line getting straight onto that point and already separating some of the healers. Ultimates becoming available as well. Divide and conquer amidst the melee, perhaps, but I don't know. The follow-up damage now is coming through. 3-4 members already down on the Monarchs, and this should be the first point going Kelvin Grove's way.
Yeah, super well fought there. Roger being an absolute menace on this Hulk, so we'll see how that one develops going later on in the series, potentially the second map. But for the first points of Burn and T'Challa, going to be KGSC picking up the Stellar Spaceport. We'll go over to the Institute of Science here. And a little bit more of a, I guess, enclosed map. I was going to say both the first 2 points, especially on Burn and T'Challa, are a little bit more enclosed, whereas Warrior Falls, if we go to that third one, it will be a little bit more open. We'll probably see maybe a swap up in the composition from one of these teams, but strong start here for the KGSC side. And I was going to say, Roger's still rocking with the Hulk. Interesting to see that they're not going for the team up, because we see it on the other side. The Monarchs rocking that Namor, rocking that Hulk for themselves. They will have that Gamma Squid available. And I was going to say, those squids do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time.
Okay, look. Gamma Squids, yes, they do a lot of damage. Namor's still very, very strong. I still miss the Ice Squids, man. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I especially when you see, like, the dive comp that Kelvin Grove put together, how good would those Ice Squids would have been just to help with the healing, get more of that damage. I digress. I'm remembering a better time of, what, like 2-3 months ago. Let's continue on with this one. Kelvin Grove Already 1 point up. Looking for a clean first map right here as we follow CWLA straight into it. And I always get nervous when the first autos are being thrown by one of your strategists.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. Roger going to be up in the mix. Morality Erasure coming out for Americana to pick off into his strategist there, so no heals anymore for the Monarchs. They're going to have to stabilize, but they've got Will on the backline, diving away, dashing through with this Black Panther. Spear comes out onto the Hulk as well. Mastodon's the only one left on the point. We'll be able to find Americana.
Oh my
will
gosh.
Be popped. Oh, actually, no, he's up. Yeah, ultimate pops. Mastodon's just holding it down on their own and capping that percentage here for Monarchs slowly.
Yeah, that's actually pretty big. I know normally I'm against using ultimates in sort of the 1v5 situation, but when you're the Hulk, when you can just buy that time for the team to rejoin, there's a good chance they might actually have done their job just because of how long it takes to actually take down the Hulk eventually. Mastodon will fall. Yeah, they did fall eventually, however. I mean, job done, right? That got him an extra 24%.
Yeah, able to hold it down. Now Monarch's going to be fighting back for it. Order of Proteus popped early, and we'll see Lucky Ultimate come out as well, trying to get the reset onto the Jeff, but Jeff being very slippery for the moment. Dragon Fruit able to live, but Mastodon will be able to finalize, but unfortunately no reset to pin it over, but point. We're going to be capped back here almost halfway to the full percentage. Aracana taking out in the process. And that's still Will on the Black Panther. Last Bastion descent coming across there. The Spear reset looking for something more, but only finds one. Gets taken out there by Pitted Over. And you see Monarchs now slowly make their claim back on this point.
Yeah, that they are, as you know. I mean, again, good work from the front line, good work from Mastodon right now to kind of hold it. And it is going to force Kelvin Grove to kind of fall back, regroup, getting ready for this next fight, though. I'm just looking at, you know, 2 strategist ultimates now available for the Monarch side. Always a tough push to kind of get through. And, I mean, you might see Dragon get there. We might see the Jeff one get there in the mix of this. But, yeah, advantage to the Monarchs right now. And after how that first map went, great bounce back we're seeing as here we go. Now comes the push.
Great dive there from Warcrax, able to find the strategist. I was going to say just the fact that the thing's able to jump all the way to the back line. Roger too, taking out, pin it over, and now they're looking for Master. He's on the run, he's on the hop and skip, and we'll be able to get out for the moment. Shield does some good work in keeping them up, but slowly staggering that one out. KGSC able to take the point back.
I feel like we've seen this one before, where Mastodon does their best to try to buy time. This one a little bit less successful, just because KG was able to retake the point a bit earlier. But the dive comp coming into play, kind of as we expected before. Now it's up to the Monarchs to try and get it back. They still gotta wait for, a little bit of a swap actually. Hulk now being replaced by Strange.
Ooh. Yeah, very interesting swap up here. The Monarchs maybe need a little bit more frontline presence. I was going to say Mastodon was doing quite well with that frontline pressure already, but the Strange allows them to be a little bit more safer. Morality Erasure coming out from Aracana. We're going to be seeing the Hive of Proteus, and we're going to be seeing Order of Proteus back in return there, but I was going to say KGSC still winning this fight out for the moment. Hit it over, will pop the ultimate, but it's no reset. It's Will. And KGSC all over it, looking to find that final percentage here. And they're going to stagger out those respawns here. The Monarchs can't really do all too much as Luna tries to get in, but it is all KGSC for this first one.
Yeah, that was a very, very well-played Kelvin Grove. Nice little bounce back. We saw the dive comp come together towards the latter end, and just, you know, good use of ultimates, good use of, you know, sticking together, not allowing themselves to get staggered. Kelvin Grove looking like a pretty complete team right there, so well done to them. Roger gets the MVP in game. I mean, look, I kind of want to give it a joint MVP to the front line, because, like, it felt like if you want a diving disruptive force, Thing and Hulk, they constantly got back there and we're just not getting punished for it.
Yeah, I was going to say well-deserved MVP. Roger just kind of all over that back line. I was going to say finding pick after pick there onto the strategists of Monarchs. And I was going to say once you take out the healers, it gets a little bit harder to hold and kind of re-swing the fight into your favor. So props to Roger, props to Loquinax as well. I was going to say the Thing coming out there for those, like, I guess that final point there. And it was so hard to deal with that front line. And then, of course, you've got Aracana always able to pop out of nowhere with that Morality Erasure and kind of find a pick. Yes, it's Will was able to follow up well. just a well-oiled machine here for the side of KGSC to start this one.
Yeah, well-oiled machine and well done to them. So Kelvin Grove, one map up as we move on to Escort up next. And this is a question I frequently like to ask. Sorry if it's a bit generic. A bit of role playing. I want to put you as the coach right now of the CWLA side. What are you telling the team? Where are we taking our focus? Where are we going from here?
I definitely feel like the Monarchs I guess we need maybe a stronger front line. I was going to say they went for the triple strategist, didn't really pay off. It felt like it was hard for, I guess, Pitted over Makahuri to kind of walk up with, only Mastodon there. Props to him, the solo Vanguard here for the side of the Monarchs. And it's a hard role to fill. So yeah, maybe a second Vanguard in there, or maybe we lean a little bit more into, I guess, a flyer composition, because I was going to say, KGSC, there are a lot of land-based characters there, and there was still a lot of flyers up here for the Monarchs if they wanted to pick them up.
I mean, they opened with the Iron Man, right? Like, we did see the Iron Man. The Iron Man was getting behind enemy lines and got some damage in before being noticed. I kind of agree with you. I think they were a little quick to abandon that, because it seemed like it was working, but maybe a little bit of a targeting issue on the latter end. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as we slowly make our way there. I mean, for Kelvin Grove, I feel like more of the same. Their communication seemed on point comparatively. They were layering their ultimates quite well. Didn't let themselves get staggered even after losing some fights. It just feels discipline is their strength, and if they stick with that, they should be okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess if I call back to that first point where they staggered out some of the KOs there that they were fighting, but unfortunately they did lose the fight. But I guess that's to point out the thought process behind KGSC. They're thinking a little bit more strategically how they can play these fights out in those very crucial moments when the fights are happening. So props to them. It'll be interesting to see where we go for our next map. Of course, Convoy is a very hotly contested one. Domination, I was going to say, once you get the momentum, you can kind of really steamroll your way through. But Convoy allows for a little bit more substitution, a lot more, I guess, deduction of what you want to kind of adapt into a series like this. So looks to the Monarchs here to hopefully adapt well going into this next one.
Yeah, I think we will be, excited to see it. As I'm taking a look, it looks as if we're going to Tokyo 2099 for this next one, which is a pretty good map. I have to... Again, personal bias aside, I actually think this might be my favorite Convoy map, so I'm keen. I'm keen for it.
Yeah, it does. I was gonna say it's a very nice one. Props to I was gonna say the Marvel Rivals team. All of the maps are super, super beautiful. I was gonna say Burn T'Challa, Arako as well. Recently they brought out. I was gonna say very much like the aesthetics and such of that one. But yeah, Spider Islands here gonna be an interesting one. Normally we see a lot of emphasis towards the Penny. The Rocket team up as well. Maybe see a Star-Lord in there. I haven't seen too much Star-Lord recently here in the High School Cup, but of course maybe one of these teams opts to bring it out. But yeah, Penny and Rocket very focuses here for a map like Tokyo, where you can kind of set the beacons up in chokes, and you can kind of allow yourself to play on top of those if you're getting dove too heavy.
Well, we'll jump right into this with those picks and bans to see if you're right on that call. Is I'm hoping the Groot gets through this time. I know, you hyped it up. It was immediately taken away. So my eyes are going to be kind of on that. And okay, well, no, it's gone. Before we even get started. Come on, man.
Don't even allow us to hype it up. It's immediately gone. Wolverine being taken out here for KGSC. Is an interesting one, because of course we saw both teams kind of really favor the Black Panther pick a little bit further, but of course that was because Wolverine was banned in that last one. Penny going to be locked in here, the KGSC, so we'll get to see it at least on one side. Whether Monarchs get to play that one out is a curious tale. The lock in for the Luna. Didn't mind our name on the Luna. I was going to say very unsung kind of strategist there for Monarchs in that last one.
I mean, also I kind of feel like when your opponent showed dive, you got to take the Luna, I think, to just help out with that as much as possible. So I like it. It's a smart lock-in. Again, sort of adapting to what the opponent's shown before. Rocket banned away is an interesting one, because both teams felt very reliant on the Rocket. I'm actually surprised to see that.
Yeah, that's an interesting call to make. It's I was gonna say not too shabby of a ban. Of course, as I said, playing around the Penny and Rocket team up, so taking one of them out of the mix. Feels like KGSC now that lock kind of becomes null and void. We'll see an Ultron ban there once again from KGSC. They don't want to play against the Flyers, or at least that team up with the Iron Man, because we know that Monarchs pitted over, happy to play that one. Squirrel being locked in here for KGSC. Didn't get to see all too much of that one. I guess for this one specifically, I feel like it's probably a more important pick because it's a very choke-heavy map. Of course, you're pushing the mission vehicle. Getting through those hallways can be rough, and Squirrel Girl kind of allows a little bit easier over time to navigate those chokes.
As we're going to see our last ban away going to be the Namor on this one, and another one I'm a little bit surprised on, but that's okay. Initial lock-ins, we'll see how it plays out. And all right, again, this is an ignorant question. You've been the one following this, so I'm following you on the expert. Blade, one of the newest heroes in this game, have they found their way into the meta yet? Have we been seeing many Blades in this event? Because I saw a quick hover and then change.
I was saying like I believe like 1 or 2, but it hasn't really, I guess, been a mainstay as I was gonna say me, Matt, and probably Emperor were expecting. Because I was gonna say a lot of these teams have been running the triple strategist. We'll see it from Monarchs this time around. And Blade, I guess, allows a lot of anti-heal and a lot of, I was going to say, it's very much similar to Black Panther in a way where you're playing very dive heavy, but you're also playing very util dive heavy, where you get that anti-heal off, you stop a few members from getting healthy up, and then, of course, KGSC or Monarchs can pile on top of that one. So, yeah, I was going to say, we haven't seen all too much Blade. I don't mind it in terms of against the triple strategist, so KGSC, they're rocking with that one. Roger going to be bringing it to the table, but we'll also see a Storm and Squirrel. So I guess a multifaceted approach here for KGSC on their attack to kick it off on Spider Island.
Well, here we go. I mean, already we're watching Makahuri hoping to get to the back line. Let's see if anybody looks to the left. Anybody gonna look to the left? No, no one's gonna look to the left. That's okay, as kind of jumps away from that one. Initial fight doesn't really see anyone go down.
The Bongo is able to get that res out. The passive ability of the Adam Warlock, but a lot of front end damage here. Once again, Roger being allowed on this Hulk is a very important thing to note, because of the KOs coming out quickly here from KGSC. Storm just controlling the skies as Makahuri will disappear, so will pit it over. KGSC with a dominant first fight there.
Yeah, that was a really strong opening to this one, as there we go. Looks like our frames have calmed down a little bit as the action has calmed down. KG now starting their approach. Kind of a bit of an iconic shot. Everybody riding along. Penny already looking to get a bit more forward as well, dropping the web, looking to hold that choke point. But realistically, the Monarchs are going to make a push on this. It's going to be tough to get through that choke point.
Yeah, the net's being set up, and you can see Mastodon already taking a lot of front-end damage here on the Iron Fist. We can see just trying to get something in for Monarchs to really find themselves in this fight. But of course, our name will be able to snipe our will out of air. Makahuri up on the hide there with the Punisher turret isn't too bad, but you've got Roger once again controlling this front line, pushing Monarchs back for the moment, and once again that nest allows them to just capture that first point so concisely.
Here we go as we continue along with this one. I'm just watching a bit of a desperate dive, not quite going to work out. Kelvin Grove continuing their march forward.
Ooh. The collide there, Mastodon and Roger, I believe, both charging up their dashes, both just having a little bit of fun with it. Will try to push Pitted over away from his team. As Jet Time comes out, a big swallow onto only 2. So Will controlling the skies once again, picking off Pitted over. KGSC once again just controlling this push so convincingly. Kenbai now has swapped over to the Blade, and we'll see how it pays off, because of course KGSC are, I guess, playing a little bit more front end heavy. We'll see the Storm ultimate come out here as well, doing some great damage onto the backline. Our name is just taken out completely for free with the Jeff in there for good measure. The combo is so good for KGSC. And another fight goes their way.
Yeah, another big fight with their favorites. There we go. Jeff getting exiled at the moment, but KG not been slowed yet. 2 checkpoints down. Team continuing to march forward, sitting on 4 ultimates as well, including that Mantis one, which just extended the fight so much longer in their favor. Really only a couple choke points left for the Monarchs to try and make that stop, so we'll see who they aim to play around. But I'm seeing stagger drops, Bongo out, you know, Maxodon getting caught out of position a little bit as well. It's not looking good, unfortunately, for CWLA.
Yeah, it is. It's not looking great. They're going to have to stabilize here. I like Maxodon swapping over to the Magneto, gives them a little bit of front end. Because, of course, they're getting rolled through for the moment. Beautiful snipes coming out from Americana there. Up onto the height. It's not an easy angle to hit, but Americana's able to find it. And once again, Roger just all over this one. Penny playing that pseudo-tank role while Roger just kind of dives that backline so aggressively. Looking for a little exile here towards the backline forces, pitted over into a little bit of a more back-end position. We do have Kenpachi's ultimate up. We do as well have the Eternal Bond coming out from the likes of Little Bongos to keep them healthy and keep them stabilized for the moment. And they've swapped over to the Storm themselves. Makuhuri able to find a pick.
Yeah, a couple big picks right there, but it does look that could be enough for the Monarchs to maybe extend this a little bit more. Kelvin Grove, they are going to be resetting, and the Storm ultimate, I think, is going to be very, very key right now for this next push around the corner. So eyes maybe a little bit on yes, it will, as we wait to see at what stage will Kelvin Grove feel confident enough to push out. And as soon as Roger arrives, here comes the Storm ultimate, as predicted, straight to the back line, and that's healers gone. Yes, it will with the 3K. Makuhori responded with 2, so it's not the cleanish push forward. However, numbers actually kind of being held right now by the Monarchs.
Yeah, I was going to say, trading Hurricane for Hurricane, and Makuhori and his team coming out on top in that one, and we're going to be seeing Jeff Time swallow up 3, pitted over now. Can look to spit them off, will go off with 3, and take them all to the casualty zone with the Monarchs. Able to hold at this final few meters here. KGSC, they're going to have to back off here. Lokorax will have to regroup with the team. KGSC, not all too many ultimates left online either. We do have the Magneto Meteor M here for Monarchs. That could be a very important pick finder here for the likes of the Monarchs, as we'll just see initial damage once again being traded by both these teams.
Yeah, big objectives being traded. Here we go. This could be the final push for Kelvin Grove to get up right now, but already have lost one of their strategists. Roger in the back line getting swallowed up as well. Looked like, no, that was just a well-timed cut, actually. Dragon Fury going to go for, well, the 2K. Only got one, but it doesn't matter. KG is just marching on through. That's going to get them across the finish line. And now it falls on to CWLA to respond.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to follow, right, KGSC? It was a very dominant push. I was going to say they kind of get stopped at the final mark there for a little bit, but they're able to get it across the line. Mastodon, unfortunately, a Meteor M that didn't quite hit there. Dragon Fury able to get a lot of value out of that Jeff Time, just taking those people off of the point and allowing KGSC to finally get that final point captured. We'll be seeing, once again, blades for both sides. I was going to say, as I said, a little bit of an interesting one. Normally we see it, you know, against the triple strategist here. Neither team kind of running that one all too crazily. I was going to say the Monarchs maybe a little bit more than KGSC, but both teams rocking with the blade. They feel a little bit comfortable. Storms as well. Not a lot to deal with these flyers. I was going to say, normally we see like a Hela or a Phoenix come out. Punisher we saw for a little bit. But I was going to say, normally, yeah, there's a lot more counter-pick heavy compositions being run by a few of these teams here.
Yeah, there have been, and we'll see where we go for this one as we get ready to start it up. Real Delta Duck, of course, sticking on the Mantis. We didn't see too much of the Mantis, you know, at least not on the camera last time, but still an interesting swap around. Here we go. Big push for the Monarchs again. This is to keep themselves alive, not just in this matchup, but in the tournament as well. If they cannot get to the end, they will be taken out by Kelvin Grove.
Yeah, playing for their potential to continue on through here. We go to a third map and continue on through the finals bracket here, but they've got KGSC in their way for the moment. Just a lot of poking and prodding, getting some early ultimate charge for a few of these guys is very important. So normally we see, you know, a team, as soon as they're able to secure an ultimate early on, they use it, pop it, and kind of flex the pressure of that one. Real Delta Duck able to take out Mastodon though. Storm versus Storm in the air, and Makuhuri will win that one out.
Big win for Makahori as we see Roger again just zoning attackers away before falling back, regrouping. Second approach now for the Monarchs as they have swapped up to that America. Matsuri trying again to get to that back line, but just doesn't feel confident enough to make the push through all the mines, through all the damage. The healers kind of stuck behind the choke point right now for the Monarchs. It's going to be a very slow push under the bridge.
Yeah, it's a very hard one to deal with. Once again, that Squirrel Girl controlling chokes, controlling the hallway here for KGSC, and picking off the strategist perfectly there, sniped out from Americana. They will just have to deal with Maxidon jumping around with his Captain America, trying to, I guess, stall for the rest of the Monarchs to come up. We'll see a Mega Hurricane coming out towards the back line here, and it's a big swallow up onto 2, make it 3 from Makahuri. The resurrection coming out from the BRB beacon, but it doesn't matter. It's another from Makahuri with the help of Kenpachi, and that's a fight that the Monarchs needed so desperately.
Yeah, that was a big pickup for them, and unfortunately, not even the Locax can hide from that. So a little bit staggered on that second front line member. This could be enough for the Monarchs to get to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, it's looking very likely. Dragon Fury just poking away with the Jeff. Spitting some water, not some fire, unfortunately. But maybe we'll see a Jeff skin in future that kind of incorporates a little bit more fire element.
Well, I feel like we just missed it because you would have had the Phoenix one, right? But instead they went for the Symbiote Jeff. Either way, this is actually a little bit of a last chance hold right now coming from Kelvin Grove. They're looking for Jeff getting 3 on point, but has to immediately spit him out.
Yeah, immediately spits him out. Maxidon still with his Captain America being a nuisance, but for the moment, KGSC have clean wiped this fight. They send all of Monarchs back to their spawn for the moment. Beautiful snipe there from Delta Duck. And once again, just being a absolute menace here with this Mantis, keeping everybody healthy, but as well dishing out the damage, because that's what I guess Mantis brings to the table. A little bit more front-end damage from your strategist is not probably what the Monarchs were expecting. We saw the Blade ult come out there from Kapachi, but he wasn't expected to just get casualty just like that. And so we'll see Parental Bond here coming out from Little Bongos just to get them up.
Yeah, just to kind of heal him up before the push. I don't know, that might have been a bit premature. You kind of get the feeling like this is the last push for the Monarchs as the Squirrels come rampaging on through. Still no one down yet, and here comes the Storm. Just trying to work on that front line. Good response, ultimate, out there from the Luna Snow, so we're not going to see anyone taken down immediately. In fact, it's actually Kelvin Grove losing members.
Yeah, losing members, but they still have the Hulk. They still have the Vanguards up. The Penny with the Spider Sweep going around the point for the moment. Roger has popped their ultimate as well. Jeff's going to get sniped out, trying to get up onto the high ground to just for a little bit of safety for the moment. Americana up on the high ground themselves, getting sniped down. Makahuri being an absolute menace here on the Storm. And I was going to say it will tick to overtime because KGSC are still committing members to the point.
Yeah, and they were doing quite well. Nearly ended the series then and there, but it does look like we have hit the checkpoint, so the Monarchs stay alive. Heroic push, but they really cannot afford any mistakes moving forward right now. Not a lot of time to get to that second checkpoint. Highly likely we'll see another overtime situation.
Yeah, highly likely. KGSC for the moment. We've got that spider egg kind of set up there in the choke behind the rock. It's hard to break. Monarchs might have to overextend. Jeff time coming out here from Pitted. Over will be taken out. Nobody swallowed up by that one. Monarchs are still looking to make this push be known. They need to keep everybody healthy and alive for the moment. Unnamed will be able to top up a few of their teammates. There's also Dragon Fury, though, find a pick towards the backline. KGSC are still stable, and this forces Monarchs to kind of stagger out the fight a little bit, walk back a little bit to safety. Hurricane towards the backline. Makahuri cleaning up on Americana, sweeping on through to help out that fight there for the Monarchs, and they'll be able to continually push with this one, but still, KGSC, they've got some numbers up to hold.
That they do, as they also continue to take out a lot of some of those extra resources. Actually, Monarchs just cleaned up, and they're continuing to move forward. 3 of the ultimates available, though, on the Kelvin Grove side, including both of the strategist ultimates. Again, Real Delta's one, I think, is going to be one to focus on. We'll see how that comes into play, as once again, 1 minute remaining, so it's not necessarily the fight for the game, but if it goes on too long, Monarchs can ill afford to lose this. Front line starting to clash. As you can see again, Maxidon doing what they can just around the corner on that America. Here comes Storm!
And the Hurricane. Beautiful, beautiful. I was going to say a little bit of a slow burner. Dragon Fury as well hopped in for that one. That's the Jeff and Storm team up. And it will be Will sniping out Makuhuri. And now we've got 30 seconds here for the Monarchs. It was a very interesting fight. I was going to say a little bit, I guess, anticlimactic in a way, but it was still a great fight out of the KGSC side. Parental bomb
no.
Goes Captain America all on top of the backline here. Maxidon just trying to do everything they can right now. The squirrels are going around. Everybody's taken under fire right now, but the KOs are going to the way of KGSC.
Yeah, they are, and I think this match is going the way of KGSC as well. The number 2 seed coming into this last desperate effort with the Storm, but it's not going to work out. Down. Oh, actually, hold on. Two pickups there. Team starting to regroup. We are in overtime, and that's going to do it off the point. Makuhuri can't get back in time, and Kelvin Grove advances.
Yeah, that is, I was going to say a very unfortunate thing. The pressure getting to Monarchs there. Kenpai not able to touch. Makuhuri just kind of stuck in that Omega Hurricane with the Jeff to get that backline. It was some good picks. I was going to say they probably could have won the fight out there if somebody was able to touch the cart, but unfortunately, time ticked down, and KGSC, as you said, they'll be able to pick up a quick 2-0 here, and MVP deserved performance there out of it's Will. Oh, sorry, yes, it's Will. Because look at that.
Yeah.
30 final hits. Woo! MVP, 43 eliminations too. Absolutely stellar show. But as we said, Vanguards once again for KGSC as well performed admirably. Ericana as well, supportive duelist, doing so much damage there to soften those picks up for Will. Strategist as well. Everybody from KGSC performing well.
Yeah, just a great show from the KGSC side, and they will be advancing to those semifinals. But for us here, we are going to be right back. We're going to probably take a look at some of those frame rate issues and hopefully get those fixed up for you. So do stick around. Our second match of the playoffs when we return. Welcome back, everybody. We are one game down, and Tony, it's crazy to think about. We're in the top 4. This is the Div 1 semifinals we're about to see. That's like, I don't know. This entire event, at least from my point of view, has flown by so fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like it's flown by for me. I've been behind the scenes, I've been in front of the camera, and I was gonna say it's all coming to a head here for our semifinals, and it's gonna be a very interesting game, of course, coming up next week. Of course, we'll have BSDE versus SLCC, and I feel like there's a few heavy favorites, of course, in the competition overall. But both these teams have been putting up some very impressive results throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, look, you were kind of talking up this BSDE side a bit. I believe Squeakers was the player you were highlighting as a potential favorite, almost like MVP candidate for this event. Tell me a bit about what they've been able to do.
Fruital. I was gonna say.
Oh, Fruital. Sorry, not Squeaker.
Yeah.
Ah, my bad.
No, the Squeakers hasn't been too bad, but yeah, Fruital's definitely. Me and Matt, and Emperor have been all talking behind the scenes like this Fruital guy's crazy. Like this guy needs to play like semi-pro or pro level because like this guy is on another level of impact. He can play everything. I was gonna say he's very good at the dive characters like your Black Panther and such, but he can also play the Vanguards. I believe we've seen him once or twice in the strategists throughout the season, so. Fruital, ton of I was gonna say expectations on him to I guess lead this team to that first place title, but of course they've got SLCC in their way, and we'll go to Hell's Heaven nomination for this second one.
We'll see how this plays out. Of course, BSDE, the #1 seed in this stage of the tournament, going up against SLCC. The #5 seed got through, well, they got a little bit of a free ride, I think is the way I'm going to put it. Obviously, you earn your seed, yes, but they haven't played yet today, and they're in the top 4. I think it's the best way of looking at it right now, so congrats to them. It does feel like, though, it's a bit of a tough ask right now to go up against BSDE, a team I set on a grand final appearance, I would have to admit, and as our first bans come through, we are seeing SLCC target some of those dive characters already with the Black Panther.
Yeah, expected. I was going to say Black Panther taken out. Wolverine being locked in here. Don't mind that one. Bryce C has been playing a very good Black Panther here for SLCC. You can see the Lord Icon as well. So been putting in the hours. BSDE, a lot of interesting, I guess, hovers and lock-ins for them. I was going to say ban out of Brute and Magic. The lock-in of Emma Frost. AEL High has been playing that one pretty well. So I was going to say kind of, I guess, leading more in towards their front line to set them up for some good picks here. McBunu as well, we spoke about Squeakers, we talked about Fruital. McBunu as well as a player that's been very diverse in some of the duelists that can be played here. So we're going to be seeing the Spider-Man locked in for McBunu. Kind of love that one. That's kind of a staple out of McBunu. Hulk as well being taken out of the picture here by SLCC. So a lot of front end being taken away by SLCC.
So I'm going to take a step back a little bit. And I'm playing a little bit detective work right now. So you're highlighting McBunu's Spider-Man. You said before as well that Fruital, very good dive player, although they're hovering Johnny at the moment. And then our last game that we saw, we sort of watched the Kelvin Grove team play the dive as well super successfully. Is it safe to say that like dive is the meta of the AEL High School League?
Yeah, I'd say, I was going to say the past few weeks, especially with how flyer-centric it was previously. We saw a lot of Ultrons, we saw a lot of Johnny Storm, we saw a lot of, I was going to say Iron Man in the mix, I believe as well. Star-Lord used to be a little bit here or there. But yeah, I was going to say, I guess it's how the meta's evolved from, I guess, throughout the season. We see a little bit more ground-heavy combat. I was going to say it's a little bit less flyer-heavy, but we'll see final lock-ins here. Penny taken away by BSDE. And we'll see Luna Lock for SLCC. Kind of respect that one. Soloroku has been playing that one quite well. And as well, Bucky being taken out of the picture. So not letting, I believe, McBunu kind of play that one. Fruital can play that one. As I said, Fruital very flexible kind of duelist player here for the side of BSDE. But the locks are coming through. Ultron is left in the mix. And the Iron Man is still available here for either of these sides. So might be seeing a little bit of a flyer comp for both sides. And it's, I guess, really up to the duelists here to make the impact, because of course we've got on the other side, Psylocke has been a very meta staple as well. Recently, I was going to say the killer one-hit combos that you can get with your Psylocke. You get onto the backline, you take out a strategist. and then it's kind of a free fight from there. But BSD, very interesting comp as well, rocking with the Strange and Emma Frost as their front line. It's a lot of AoE and a lot of burst heavy front line here for the Vanguards.
We'll see how they go at it as we are 10 seconds away of kicking it off. One last dumb question, and I will admit this is a dumb question. Is Spider-Man a flyer or a dive character? Same with Venom. Where do they fit? Where do they fit on that?
I'd say flyer. I was gonna say Spider-Man's normally like up in air. Like, of course, if you can pilot the character as well, I was gonna say there's a lot of movement options. So I feel like Spider-Man pseudo flyer in a way. I wouldn't label him under the flyer banner, but he's like almost there.
Well, he's already on the back line, as you can see right here. Thank you again, our observer. McBono waiting for the opportunity, and in we go straight after that. Ultron doesn't quite get the full combo, but definitely something that SLCC will have to be aware of moving forward as we continue our first fight.
Yeah, McBono just flying in, do a little drive-by onto Soloruku on the Ultron. And you see the rest of SLCC, their front line with the Magneto here for Tony. He's a very important one. I was going to say you kind of need a very strong frontline presence. Wolverine as well to follow suit. Getting those claws out, getting some damage in. But everybody here, I was going to say, keeping it very stable. BSD with that early kind of engagement were able to capture the point. But he kidnapped there onto Squeakers. But he kidnapped, I believe, the wrong target. A very healthy one that Squeakers is able to stabilize there. Adultify as well, walking up. Great pick there to take out Tyler. Ultron ult coming out here. Rage of Ultron to keep everybody healthy. And we'll be taken out by Frutal and McBono as well, getting in the mix.
Far from me to be a bit too critical of that play, but I did notice Psylocke go down right before the Ultron ult came out, so it was a little bit of a desperate play from SLCC. And the end result right now is BSDE actually winning this fight. 5 ultimates available that they are sitting on as well. 50% of the point as they were able to take it before the start of the brawl. This is going to be a tough pushback for SLCC as they start to move forwards.
Looking at Bryce C, trying to look for that kidnap. Will looks for Squeakers. Eye of Agamotto pops spectacular Spider-Man. Swinging on through with the spectacular spin, able to pick up a few. And of course, fate of both worlds here for Diva McPrice, just to keep everybody healthy and stable. I was going to say, popping the Eye of Agamotto as well, especially after getting pulled into the backline, was an interesting move from the side of BSD, but it pays off. McVoodoo again, still just being a menace here, flying through, doing a little drive-by, doing a little check-in. And we'll, of course, see SLCC pop the Magneto Meteor M, but we do have the Supernova out of Brutal, and it is eviscerating the HP bars there. McBono as well, always there to back up their fellow duelists. Dance the butterfly here, but everybody avoids it. Everybody running away from that one is spacing perfectly. BSDE, 100-0, that first point.
And it all came off that first fight as well, just taking hold of the momentum and never letting it go. Again, credit at the end right there to the damage being put out from Frutal. But there was a lot of things that just seemed to go their way. And while I can't be too critical of some of the positioning and plays, I guess, from SLCC, it just felt BSDE more consistent in their damage, at least from my own personal eyeball test. More consistent with the damage, just whittling out their opponents in a couple little mistakes. Like, you know, we saw the Wolverine hit the wrong target. We see a little bit of the mistiming with some of the ultimates with, like, players going down, so you've got them a little bit staggered. Against BSDE, it really seems like you've got to play a near-perfect game.
Yeah, I was going to say, BSDE is one of those teams you can't really let them take all too much away from you. As you said, those staggers were very important. BSDE just kind of clean sweeping them up from there. So SLCC, they do make some adaptations. We'll see Magneto now for Bryce C. We'll see Tony swamp over to the Hela. So a little bit more emphasis on taking down those flyers. As I said, you know, Frutal, very, very scary prospect to go against. And as we, you know, in the high school scene have said, Frutal's like one of those guys that's probably a perennial contender to play at that pro or semi-pro level if they wanted to give it a go. As, we'll also see the thing out of here, Soloruku. So this kind of swapping up a little. A lot of the compositions here, but McBono, once again, on this Spider-Man, picking off the strategies.
Yeah, that's big already, and you can see for SLCC, they can no longer push forward as a result. Bryce trying to find what they can. Another pickup for McBono, so that's 2 strategists already taken out. No healers, no chance for this front line to hold its spot, especially when you see Altai just getting stepping forward, using their plays as well. Sorry, I'm a little bit staggered as well right now. Doesn't matter. BSDE takes the point.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it's just a very interesting psionic seduction there at AEL High, just kind of securing that fight for SLCC. For BSDE. They kind of already really won that one, but yeah, maybe just, I guess, feeling confident a little bit. We'll see Squeakers kind of take up control here. Spectacular spin once again from McBunu. That one's charged up so quickly, will be able to be traded out by SLCC, but kind of just letting them know that the presence is felt.
Yeah, that said, did take down McBunu, so it wasn't the perfect play, and maybe without the threat of that backline dive, you can see a bit more confidence coming from SLCC as they try to get through the choke, but shields are up, damage is there, and that's a huge Eye of Agamotto, and oh my god, Squeakers!
Eviscerating them there. I was going to say the fate of both worlds coming out from Matt to keep them up healthy for the moment, but it feels a little bit late. Fate of both worlds back here from Diva McBride's. Well, we can see BSD, their approach is starting to come through. McBunu's already found Alex there, the local taken out in the mix, and it's going for another dive there. That's why they have the Magneto to keep their backline safe for the moment, because McBunu's running amok. BSD still controlling that space. They're not allowing SLCC to walk up to that point.
There we go, McBunu. Actually, not the cleanest engage. Gonna have to back out of this one, but is able to do so successfully. Meanwhile, in the front line, Thing doing Thing stepping forward, holding right click, has the healing for them, but yeah, it's Brutal who you gotta be careful of, and as soon as you're out in the open, you can see the big damage coming out of the Johnny Storm. They're taking low, courtesy Star-Lord, but not enough to be taken out just yet.
Beautiful. I was going to say, a lot of damage there dealt from the supernova of Brutal, and then able to hide behind that. Oh, killer there. Eye of Agamotto once again from Squeakers. That's so quickly charged up. And once again, SLCC feel the hurt of that one as they all come piling through. It's a double from AEL High, and that is another potential 100-0 unless Solaruku can get back. It's not likely. BSDE will capture Hell's Haven very convincingly. Frozen Airfield and Eldritch Monument go their way.
And it just felt like everything SLCC tried to do, there was an answer for it, especially towards the end. Two huge Eye of Agamottos actually really just stopped SLCC from getting any momentum. And you kind of say yourself, like, how fast they were able to bring it back. It felt like you had a key ultimate ability available every single fight going against SLCC. And difficult to play around. Difficult first map for them, but they're not done yet. They'll still have a second chance in the convoy.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to dig deep, because BSD on their victory lap, it would seem, right now on their chance to take it all home in the end of things. But yeah, I was going to say, props to BSD, juggling those ultimates well, some great communication coming out as well to, I was going to say, not overuse them. I was going to say you saw maybe 1 or 2 pop per fight, and the rest of BSD were just kind of able to follow up from there. SLCC, again, as we said, a little bit staggered to some of those approaches, so hopefully they can bring it back for this next one here on Convoy.
Yeah, hopefully you can as we're going. I always pronounce this one wrong. Yggdrasil? Where all the Norse people live. Where all the Vikings are. That's where we're going next. How's it pronounced?
Yep. Yeah, Yggdrasil Path. Sometimes normally I was gonna say just the shorthand names for some of these maps, but yeah, that should be, again, I was gonna say another Penny-centric map. We'll hopefully get to see a little bit of focus towards that one in the picks and bans. But Penny Rocket, normally you kind of want to hold that choke, especially if you're playing the defense early. You want to put that beacon in a pretty good spot to res a teammate if they fall early. But yeah, SLCC, they're going to have to dig deep. Maybe change up a few priority picks and bans here when it comes to this second one, because I feel like they still let BSDE play what they wanted to.
Yeah, I feel like the Spider-Man's got to go. Spider-Man's got to go. The Strange, even though the Strange was super impactful as well, I don't know if you can waste a ban on that. Like, I'd have to throw back to you on this one, but it feels to me like Strange, it's too important for both teams right there to really ban that one out, but you have to be considering it.
Yeah, I was going to say Squeakers played that one super well. I guess would see Strange banned all too much. Normally, it's I guess the priorities are, your Thing, your Groots, those frontliners that can really soak up a lot and I was going to say dish a lot of damage out. Definitely want to see a Spider-Man ban for sure. I was going to say McBunu, an absolute menace on that one. Fruital can play that one as well. So I was going to say it feels like a multifaceted ban as we go into our next one here. Pick some bans for our second map, Yggdrasil Path Convoy. And, well, it's some interesting calls here for the side of SLCC because they can also play the Spider-Man. So, yeah, it's like, we ban out what we can play as well because we don't want to give it to BSDE, or do we stick with what we know?
It's tough, and again, this is a potentially, I don't want to say tournament-ending decision if they get it wrong, because they still will have a third place match even if they come up short in this one. But I mean, come on, you want to be playing first, right? You want to pull off this upset here. So we'll see. They've actually opted to ban the Johnny Storm, which after what we saw Fruital do, I'm not too shocked.
Yeah, that I was gonna say the torch definitely feels like a warranted ban coming out of SLCC, but yeah, I was gonna say Magic being taken away here for BSDE is an interesting one. Maybe I was gonna say a callback to a previous game. They've done their homework against SLCC. They know what they like to play in the lock-in of the Black Panther. This one's for Fruital, and I don't imagine it won't feel like the impact's been made.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good little lock-in right there. The Spider-Man does get banned out. I do want to go back to the Penny Parker lock, though, because you're talking about before, particularly on this map. I mean, the zoning pressure, there's a lot of tight corners, a lot of places to hide the nest quite well. And to see it locked in from SLCC, do you think maybe they've got a plan around this?
I definitely would say so. I was going to say maybe a little bit more defensive of a composition. We'll see a thing lock in as well. So a lot of Vanguard lock-ins here for the side of SLCC, wanting to play towards their front line a little bit more. Happy to give AEL High that Emma Frost again. Taking away the Groot is I guess a very interesting thing, because the Penny Groot combos a lot of, I guess, explosive AoE damage, of course, with the Nest, with the Groot right click as well. It's a very strong combo to run, so they'll be taking away that one. And Emma Frost being locked in for AEL High, I really like that one from BSD. I feel like AEL High, I guess we have to give him these flowers, right? He played super, super well in that first map.
Yeah, he really did, so gonna be excited to see that. I'm with you, though. I'm a little bit sad we don't get to see the Penny group, just because, like, within my... I'm making it personal, but within my own small play group, I mean, that's the tank combo me and my friend run. We love just setting up walls of mines and watching people run straight into them. This is also at low elo, by the way. We're talking like Iron 4, so people just ignore the mines. They don't shoot me, they don't exist, and it's a good time. But not getting that, what we are getting instead is some interesting lock-ins right now. Again, my eyes are kind of on BSDE. Where's Fruital going? And you know it's that Black Panther.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say McBunu can play it as well. We said Fruital can play everything. McBunu can also play everything. I feel like those two kind of rotate who plays what. Sometimes we'll get to see McBunu kind of play those dive-centric characters and be the frontline presence to BSDE. But then, of course, Fruital, he's back to what he knows best, is that dive on the Black Panther. We'll see Ultron as well for Zicha. So I was going to say a little bit more of a front aggressive style of composition out of BSDE.
It's Invisible Woman now.
I was hoping for an Ultron, but
I mean,
Three,
hold on.
2,
Oh, no, that was Black Panther. I thought it looked like an Ultron. Here we go, though.
Yeah.
Doors open up and into the fray we go. Again, it is BSDE initially on the attack, and already you can see they get a bit of space. I'm not seeing anything crazy at the door, but it's this first turn where matches can be won or lost here in Yggdrasil. So we'll see how it happens as Fruital has already gotten to the back line.
Yeah, Alex already being taken out there. That's just the Fruital impact, right? We'll already see the spear come out. And the follow-up. McBunu is going to be the one picking those up. Stop with that for Fruital. Giving over to McBunu. Some quick KOs and potentially a quick first cap here for BSDE.
Yeah, that was very, very fast. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that we saw the Magneto thing and we didn't see the Penny Parker on the first point. Is it just critically she's not as strong until later, especially considering SLCC locked her in, or does that surprise you as well?
I was going to say, yeah, very interesting call here for SLCC, knowing that they're going to be playing that defense. They probably want to play such a strong up front to pick it off is gonna say already Frutal finding Alex once again. Bunu just kind of peppering away the damage. The thing for Kyler is an interesting one. I was gonna say you've got your pseudo 3 strategies compositions here. We got the Adam playing a little bit more of a damage role, but also can dish out a lot of healing. We'll see Bunu just once again up in the sky. Does have that Iron Man ultimate available. We'll look to pop it probably very soon. Frutal once again squeak his eye of Agamotto towards the backline, and there's so much upfront damage to deal with, and it's BSDE already picking up a few.
Credit to the patience of McBrono actually, and all of that. Held on to the ultimate despite the Eye of Agamotto popping off. Normally you see those together in tandem, right? Like you get the setup guaranteed hit, but no. I think they're saving it for the next play when they get a bit closer to the checkpoint. Ultimate now available as well, by the way, for Frutal. So that is 5 up for BSDE. This is going to be a tough hold for SLCC.
I'm ready to put on
Yeah, this is going to be a rough one. They do have the sound barrier available. They will trade both worlds early here for the side of BSDE. Pulse cannon coming out from Bunu. Sink it deep with the Meteor. M from Bryce Steve will pick up a few of it as well. The auto right click, fast descents available for Frutal, but will pop through for Alex. SLCC, they're able to hold. Beautiful, beautiful play there from Bryce C.
You know what? Questions about the Magneto have now been answered, eh? I was kind of wondering about that one. That's why you take him. Well done from Bryce C. Well held as well. BSDE, they're still sitting on 2, including the Invisible with this one, so that's going to be big from Zicha. We'll see what they'll be able to bring, but right now, objective, get back on the point, as SLCC is going to try to hold.
Don't get a move on that tree's not going to make
fun.
A little bit of damage there. Tremble before this as well for Tony. We're going to be seeing Frutal pop on through the backline. Did pop the last set, so quick one there from Frutal. A little flyby eye. Agamotto goes deep. Front. SLCC out of this. Forward before the Bruno, and Frutal able to combine for a few. Alex will be popped out of the invisible boundary, and it's Frutal.
No worries.
And it's BSDE back to their winning ways, and will cap that second point convincingly.
Music is always so dramatic on this map whenever you cap a point. I'm a little bit relieved too we're not hearing the screaming goats, because that is like legitimately one of the most terrifying sounds in any game, let alone Marvel Rivals. Little things make me happy.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm glad we don't get to hear the ghosts. It's a little bit of a worrisome thing when you hear those. But
it's a jump scare, man. It's a legit jump scare.
Got that on video.
Absolutely. BSD, another quick fight there. A few staggered spawns from SLCC. That's just the unfortunate thing of, I guess, falling early and then spawning a little bit earlier than your teammates. As the point is capped, BSD are able to, I guess, just keep them there in that room for so long. And now SLCC, they'll all be back up. We will have a few ultimates available for the Proteus here for Tony. It will be a very important one. Bunu still holding on to that pulse cannon for so long. Some great discipline out of BSDE.
Little pick up right there from Frutal on the back line as they go right back in it again. I'm kind of waiting for McBrono to see where we're going to see, if it's even going to be needed right now, because it's just isolating from Frutal, finding the targets, taking them out. Yeah, they can hold for now. They might not need it. It won't carry over to the next map, but that's okay, because BSDE, there comes the pulse. That didn't really hit anyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is bug. Meteor came out of Bryce C. Boundary popped here for SLCC to stay healthy on this cart as it reaches its final Meteor. But Agamotto popped deep there, and Maelstrom as well from Squeakers just to do so much upfront damage. Once again, this is BSDE feeling themselves right now and looking to tap this final point. Production comes out just for a little bit of good measure, and of course, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, BSDE with a convincing first push here.
Here we go then. SLCC, you want to pull off the upset, you want to, you know, take down Goliath, you've got 4 minutes to do so. As we get geared up for our second run in it. Still waiting to see Penny, but now on the attack, I don't think it's coming through. So again, I'm kind of going back to that lock before from the SLCC side, and kind of confused by, or maybe they will use it on the, no, Bryce opts for more Magneto, and why not? I mean, that one play was the shining light for SLCC, so keep Bryce on it. Just keep him on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, Bryce C, we saw it the Wolverine first point there on domination. Unfortunately, he didn't really, I guess, have the impact he probably would have liked. So getting him on the Vanguard, getting him holding that front line is very good. Tony Jarvis has swapped over to the Black Panthers. So SLCC looking to remedy the success of what BSDE had in their attack side there with the dive composition. And as well, Alex, I was going to say, on the Namor, a little bit more of a stable kind of backline duelist that you can have in your disposal. BSDE, they're keeping with what they know best. Nothing really changed.
Nothing changing yet. We'll see how it plays out. How aggressive will they be out the door? And no crazy traps, nothing too erratic being set out right now. It's all about that first corner choke point. Ooh, good damage actually coming from Alex. Not enough to get the first K.
And no first KO yet. SLCC move slowly. Approach up on this first corner. AEL High being very cautious and trying to feel for the backline, right? That Panther from Tony and that Panther out of Brutal. Look at the spear. Unfortunately, no reset for the moment. Will be able to dash though. Quick succession. But knocked up there. Forced back Brutal. Has the retreat.
Wasn't able to get any picks, but is able to slow them down. That said, Speaker's got to be a little bit careful not to go too far in front. Still holding the line. Shield starting to come back up. Actually taken very low. Timely shield, timely heal. Still all good, but to their credit, SLCC, they are slowly making ground.
Yeah, slowly but surely, but you can see BSDE once again walking up on the cart, tapping it back and forcing them to their spawn gate for the moment. You see AEL High running out of a little bit of that shield as we'll see Tony getting in the backline there. I was going to say, the power of the Black Panther forced away there by Diva McFry's Brutal. Once again picking off a few members here. BSDE, they're playing very hot and cold. I was going to say, happy to give up the space for a little bit and then take it back immediately.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose McBono in the middle of that, but they still wound up winning the fight, so McBono should be able to get back in time. And nearly halfway through what would be this first checkpoint, still 2 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. Now starting to see some ultimates available on the SLCC side, 3 of them sitting, including both of the strategists. If they're going to make that push, you'd expect it to come from this one, but not even allowed. Squeakers just steps up and finds one of the strategists already. A bit of a desperate play coming from Match, and I don't think it's going to work out for them.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Horn Proteus comes out. Alex trying to find a crucial pick there towards the backline, but once again, Brutal's all over SLCCs in the process. Fate of both worlds, keeping everybody healthy and not really having to burn all too many ults. The time Agamotto came out from Squeaks early on there to not allow SLCC to walk up. They tried to force it there with the parental bond out of Cloak and Dagger. And once again, they're relegated to this spawn gate. It's just so much upfront damage and so much pressure from BSDE.
Yeah, it is. It's a great show coming from the BSDE side right now, and they are a minute 18 seconds away from getting themselves to the finals. Now, I like this from SLCC. They're kind of gearing themselves up. They've got 1, maybe 2 more pushes. Let's see how they play it. Invisible Woman does have, you know, their key abilities available if they look to hold it for this push. We'll wait to see how it goes. Patient play from SLCC. They can afford to, but if they're too patient, this turns into the last fight.
Fast descent already from Frutal. Starting it off with Dudu. The space that they're allowed to play with there, just high ground all the way in the back line and nothing really SLCC have to kind of answer that one. They do have the Luna, they do have Alex as well on the Demore, so those squids can do some damage. The thing walking up here, Kyla, just trying to get in the mix. As you said, SLCC still have some ultimates to play with. Magneto, Meteor M needs to be very crucial here for Prize C.
Yeah, this is going to be the big one. 30 seconds to go. This is the push, and we can see a bit of a desperate play from BSDE, actually, or maybe over-aggressive is the better word, but they step in front of the corner, actually losing out on a fair bit. This is the fight that SLCC needed.
Make a good team.
Absolutely. Tony Jarvis not going huge there with Bucky. Able to pick up a few there with the Kraken impact. Get the reset. Squeakers, though, does have the portal to get onto the point and do have the Eye of Agamotto, too. So it's going to be very high. SLCC needs to be on guard here because BSD are jumping through. Eye of Agamotto hits everybody. Huge maelstrom into the pulse cannon. And the cherry on top, BSDE absolutely clean sweep before they can even cap the point. SLCC will fall. BSDE in dominant form there will be able to take home Yggdrasil path.
Oh my goodness. Look, you dream up moments like that as a team, right? You know, the portal play, so often they can go wrong, but to pull that off, to not just win the match, but to push yourself in the grand final as well, well done. Squeaker's getting MVP, I suppose. Fair enough. I mean, that setup at the end was a thing of beauty. BSDE 2-0 on the day. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, huge MVP performance there out of Squeakers. 40 eliminations, almost there with Frutal at 43, only getting KO'd once in the process. I have to give a credit though, as you said, the team coordination for that portal play, absolutely perfect, and that's what we saw out of BSDE, the makings of a champion, all of the coordination, all of the perfect calls, and just Frutal, McBurnu being absolute menaces there on the duelist role. Just, it's so hard to play against if you're SLCC.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So credit where credit is due. Well done, BSDE. They get to go through. We don't have the results just yet on that other match to see who they'll be playing in the finals next week. However, I mean, look, from what we saw before, and if you look at the seeding, I'm still thinking it's going to be Kelvin Grove, BSDE, the Brisbane battle, as it were, which state pride. I'm bringing it back to state pride. I'm loving it for Queensland, man.
Yeah, it feels good to be from Queensland. I was going to say, yeah, that should be, if KGSC are able to come across the victors there, that should be a very, very cool final to see, because KGSC, as we saw, very dominant in their semi-final. BSDE as well, very dominant. I believe both these teams went toe-to-toe, and it was a very close game. From memory, of course, my memory might be a little bit off, but I was going to say that should be a very good game if we get to see it, but of course, we'll await the results of that one.
Yeah, but what we won't wait for, Tony, is to thank our sponsors. If you would be so kind to give them the shout-out.
Absolutely. AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. AGON by AOC provide the best in class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs. And as well, Indomie, the noodle partner here, made with high quality flour and selected ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today from your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. Of course, couldn't have it without our sponsors here.
Yeah, I mean, again, with us through thick and thin, it's been fantastic to have them along for the ride. And what a ride it has been. Look, I'm a little bit, I don't know if you get Matt back next week, Tony. It's, well, yeah, you might. But you won't be getting me. Either way, I don't think you'll be getting me. I think it's pretty safe to say that. So I'm a little bit sad I won't get to see that final live to my knowledge. But, I mean, gotta be keen for it, no matter which way it goes. That BSDE team, they just, first time seeing them, really, they look good.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that's what anyone that looks and watches these two teams play, of course, BSDE always a heavy favorite to come out on top. I was gonna say very dominant, very coordinated. I was gonna say there's so many words we can say, without blowing smoke too much for them.
Yeah, exactly. But you can see some of those words, I believe, on the social media accounts of AEL. So follow us on the Twitters, the Instagrams, the Twitch. If you're watching along, make sure you drop that follow to see when we are up again, which will be next week, not to mention all of the intervarsity scene that's been happening every night. It feels like Tuesdays to Friday nights. There's something going on. It's been fantastic. Thank you for having me on, Tony. I have to admit, I feel like a little bit, normally I'm over on the Rocket League side, so I kind of invaded today. It was pretty fun.
It's been a pleasure. I was gonna say we'll keep you updated for the result as well, because I know you're waiting on it.
Yeah, please do. But on that note, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next time.